In 1956, Ian Fleming pens From Russia with Love. The novel is published in 1957 to rave reviews and strong sales. In 1961, Life magazine prints a list of President Kennedy's top 10 favorite books. Many observers are surprised to see From Russia with Love make the list. Others are delighted. During filming of Dr. No, producers Albert R. Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman decide to make From Russia with Love as the second James Bond film. The producers not only have one of Ian Fleming's best novels, but they also have Sean Connery, Dr. No's director Terence Young and his crew, as well as twice the budget of the first film. Having proved they know the formula for success, Broccoli and Saltzman seem destined to make an easy hit. Fate has different ideas.
Second one was a bit nervous making because you wanted to make it as good as, if not better than the first. And that's not always easy.
The plan is simple. Launch a series of James Bond films, releasing one a year, then in between produce other pictures. During the filming of Call Me Buona, their current non-Bond film, Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman asked writer Johanna Harwood to adapt From Russia with Love into a script. Soon, Richard Maybaum is brought in to rewrite the screenplay.
He taught me quite a lot about transposing from the book to a script and making it work.
The filmmakers decide to sidestep any political issues by changing the villains from the Russian counter-espionage service to the private organization Spectre.
According to your instructions, I've planned for Spectre to steal from the Russians their new lector-decoding machine.
While work on the script continues, the filmmakers turn to casting. Noted film actor and novelist Robert Shaw signs on to play Spectre killer Red Grant.
My orders are to kill you and deliver the lector.
For the role of Spectre number 3, the filmmakers turn to an unlikely but brilliant choice.
He seems fit enough. Have him report to me in Istanbul in 24 hours.
Former German cabaret star Lotte Lenya.
She was the wife of Kurt Weill and very well known in the European theatrical scene and film scene of Germany.
After being nominated for an Academy Award for Tennessee Williams's The Roman Spring of Mrs. Stone, Lotte Lenya signs on to play the decidedly unglamorous role of Colonel Rosa Klebb.
You are not here to ask questions.
The role of Kerim Bey is cast when famed director John Ford calls Terence Young. He asks if Young has a role for Mexican actor Pedro Armendariz. Young quickly casts Armendariz as Kerim Bey, head of Station T, Turkey. It is a stellar cast, pulled together largely by director Terence Young.
Terence was extremely knowledgeable about these actors and actresses.
For the roles of the two gypsy fighting women, filmmakers turn to two beauty pageant winners. Alicia Gurr becomes a finalist in the 1961 Miss Universe pageant before landing a role in the London musical Ramona.
We lasted 2 nights, but in the audience, first row, was Mr. Harry Saltzman.
Martine Beswick has her first brush with James Bond after she enters a beauty contest in Jamaica.
Prize was this wonderful red car, little mini Minor, convertible. So I decided, that's it. I am going to get this. I'm going to win.
Martine Beswick wins the pageant, sells the car, and moves to London to try her hand at acting.
The first interview I went on was to meet Terence Young for Dr. No.
Beswick does not get the part, but she meets Young again later.
He said, "Oh, you're wonderful. I really loved you in that, but darling, you didn't have enough experience, so now I want you to do this." So that's what I did From Russia with Love.
With key roles cast, the only part remaining is Bond's love interest, Russian cipher clerk Tatiana Romanova. Once again, the filmmakers find a former beauty pageant queen to fill the role.
Allora, ho cominciato come indossatrice a Roma. I began as a model in Rome, working for Valentino, among others, and then I took part in the Miss Universe contest in Miami.
Daniela and I were roommates, and we were both the top runner-ups in the Miss Universe.
First runner-up, the delegate from Italy. Daniela Bianchi.
At the time, a movie agent asked me if I wanted to be in movies, if I wanted to give it a try, and so I did. I had some small parts in commercial films until Terence Young came to Rome looking for the protagonist of From Russia with Love.
Bianchi, like dozens of other actresses, screen tests for the role at Pinewood Studios, performing the famous bedroom meeting between her and Bond. A familiar but unlikely face plays 007 for the audition, actor Anthony Dawson, who appeared as Professor Dent in Dr. No. Filmmakers do not come to a decision about their leading lady until production is ready to begin.
Yes, I waited a couple of months. I had very long hair, and in the meantime I cut it, and Terence was very disappointed.
Then I will take it off.
Despite the shorter hair, Daniela Bianchi adds an air of exotic beauty to the cast. As production nears, Ken Adam, a key member of the production team, becomes unavailable.
Kubrick had seen Dr. No, and he was so impressed by it that he called me if I would like to do his next picture, which was Dr. Strangelove.
With Ken Adam unavailable, the filmmakers turned to his art director from Dr. No, Sid Kane. Also missing is stunt arranger Bob Simmons.
He basically handed that one over to Peter Perkins because he was on another film.
By March, all the elements are in place except one, the screenplay. The filmmakers find the addition of Spectre to the plot does not yet work. The studio has concerns that the story is too complex. Even as rewrites continue, the filmmakers hold a press conference at the Connaught Hotel to announce production. Filming with the principal actors begins on April Fool's Day, 1963. The scene introduces a new member to the James Bond family.
Miss Moneypenny, ask the equipment officer to come in, please.
It came absolutely right out of the blue. I just got a message from my agent saying, I've got a part for you in the next Bond film.
An ordinary black leather case with 20 rounds of ammunition here and here.
The briefcase becomes the first of Bond's lethal toys from Q, and Desmond Llewellyn becomes internationally famous as the gadget master of MI6.
Now, normally to open a case like that, you move the catches to the side. If you do, the cartridge will explode in your face. Now, to stop the cartridge exploding, turn the catches horizontally, like that. Then, open normally.
Editor Peter Hunt has his own fun with the locks in the cutting room.
Terence was saying, what you got cut? What, can I see anything? You know, he was anxious. Yeah, I said, we got the scene with M and Q and Bond in the office. Oh, good, let's have a look at it.
Catches like that.
That's right.
And open ordinarily.
Terence fell out of his chair, and he loved it so much. Those are the sort of fun things that we did.
On April the 3rd, shooting continues with Lotte Lenya and Daniela Bianchi. The mood off camera is decidedly different than the on-screen tension.
Ah, yes. Well, it was pretty funny because Lotte was a very small, very sweet woman, and Terence had chosen her for the role of a tough villain. It was just totally different from what she was. Then it was funny because she had to wear these really thick glasses in the scene where she was so villainous and rigid. She couldn't see a thing.
The scene contains risque undertones for the time, which are expertly handled by director Terence Young.
Ah, Terence Young. Terence Young was a very elegant man, very refined, very demanding on the set, but he always succeeded in creating a pleasant and friendly atmosphere.
On Friday, April the 5th, filming moves to Stage D at Pinewood Studios, where Terence Young stages an international chess championship.
One of my favourite sets, one that still is, you know. I took it as a chess motif, which hopefully gave it the right atmosphere.
The set costs $150,000 to build, and that does not even include the ceiling, which is recreated by matte artist Cliff Cully.
All the columns around the sides, and from there on up was painted. There's, I mean, like most film sets, no top. You know, most film sets are lit from the top, as you know, so if you get a big shot that features a ceiling, you can bet your life it's either a hanging miniature or it's a matte painting, you know, to hide all the lighting.
The scene also includes one of the most famed end games of modern chess history. For the film, Terence Young recreates Boris Spassky's daring maneuver from the 1960 Spassky-Bronstein match.
Congratulations, sir. A brilliant coup.
Soon director Young has his leading actors up to maneuvers all their own. The scene opens with a daring glimpse of nudity, which is only partially concealed by a gauzy curtain.
Yes. I wasn't naked. I wasn't the person who streaks across the room naked. I was very concerned about keeping the sheet tight around me.
Daniela Bianchi finds little help from her co-star Sean Connery.
Sean naturally did everything he could to complicate things. Then Terence made us repeat the scene so many times. Terence really had fun with it, maybe because of my embarrassment.
On April the 10th, shooting begins on the set of Blofeld Shipboard headquarters. The scene has been quickly rewritten the day before. On the set, Young changes many aspects of the scene, including switching around dialogue.
I find the parallel amusing.
For Blofeld's hands, Terence Young turns to his old friend Anthony Dawson, a role the actor will repeat 2 years later in Thunderball. The scene proves difficult to film. The Siamese fighting fish do not fight, and the dialogue is badly in need of a polish. With no other sets completed, Terence Young starts the crew on night shoots for the film's opening. This sequence is set to film in the gardens of Pinewood Studios. Harry Saltzman had come up with the idea of Bond being killed in the film's opening, but the shot of the mask of Bond being lifted off actor John Ketteringham looks too similar to Connery, a problem which is not discovered until the cast and crew arrive in Istanbul.
Oh, that was a wonderful location. I mean, the city itself just lent everything that Bond films needed. Intrigue, romance, beautiful.
Before the crew leaves, Richard Maybaum makes many last-minute adjustments to the script, including having Grant shadow Bond in Istanbul.
I've been keeping tabs on you. I've been your guardian angel.
On location, Terence Young makes quick adjustments so that it is not Bond who kills the Soviet agent, but Donald Grant. Thus, at every turn, when Bond thinks he's fighting the Russians, he's really just a pawn in Spectre's game. A change that suddenly brings the script into focus. Ian Fleming joins the crew on location.
Ian was there during the filming, and we were both great sightseers, so we went everywhere, into the markets and into the mosques and up and down the Bosphorus. We just had a great time.
Fleming strikes up a friendship with actor Pedro Armendáriz, but for director Terence Young, the location is a little too friendly. At every location, crowds by the thousands gather to watch the filming.
In Istanbul, they were obviously not used to such big, important film sets.
When 3,500 onlookers gather at Sirkechi railroad station, Young finds it impossible to film, so he asks stunt coordinator Peter Perkins to create a distraction. Perkins hangs from a balcony across the street and yells for help. The crowds rush to watch him, allowing the filmmakers to get their shot. The scene at the Istanbul train station also features a cameo by Mrs. Harry Saltzman.
You did say your clock was correct.
Russian clocks are always correct.
We wanted to create the effect of the Russian embassy being set on fire. And Harry said, "Yeah, don't worry, John." He said, "You and your guys go up there and set smoke pots up in the top of that building. That's no problem."
And I remember the police and fire department arrived.
No permission, of course, and it was the real fire engines, the real ambulances, the real police and the whole thing, so...
The filmmakers shoot in the elaborate water reservoir beneath Istanbul and at many of the city's famed mosques. Despite last-minute changes to the script, all has gone well in Istanbul until filmmakers attempt to shoot the film's climax set in the Gulf of Venice. Plagued by poor weather, sluggish boats, rough seas, and bouts of seasickness among the cast and crew, the location is scrapped. Shortly after, director Young notices a change in actor Pedro Armendáriz. At times, he becomes depressed, moody. Director Young confronts the actor, who admits that he fears he is gravely ill. The remaining locations in Istanbul are cancelled so that the crew and cast can move back to Pinewood Studios. Terence Young has his brother, who is the Queen's surgeon, examine Armendáriz.
That was a very sad moment for all of us. Pedro was half through the film, and he discovered, as we all did, that he had an inoperable cancer. And he said to Cubby, I want to finish this film. I have to finish this film, Cubby.
We used to have lunch every day, practically, and he was always very concerned that he would finish the film.
The filmmakers decide to honour Pedro's wishes.
They hired studios at Pinewood and did all of his remaining scenes in a 2-week period.
The gypsy camp scene and every scene with Pedro took priority.
We are bidden to table.
And we built that set, such as it was, in about 7 days.
During the first 4 days of filming on the set, 4 sequences are partially filmed, with very little but those shots of gravely ill Pedro Armendáriz completed.
His wife was with him at all the time, all the time. What a fantastic woman, what a loving woman.
Well, Terence tried to help him a lot. The technicians did too, but then at the end, Pedro just couldn't do it anymore.
In those sequences where we showed Pedro, we were literally propping him out from the back.
He was most insistent that he did all the post-syncing and all the voice requirements that were necessary.
Terence said to me, we're going to have to take Pedro up to London and get the tracks very quickly because the man's very sick. And I've never forgotten it because he tried so hard, in spite of being in obvious pain, he worked incredibly hard to get everything perfect.
And then when we said goodbye to him, that was it.
I've had a particularly fascinating life. Would you like to hear about it?
Pedro Armendáriz lived life on his own terms. He completes From Russia with Love so that he can leave money for his wife and children. He returns to Mexico, then checks into the UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles. On June the 18th, rather than waste away under the haze of pain medication, he takes out a gun he smuggled into the hospital and takes his own life. Among Pedro Armendáriz's over 70 films, he is best remembered for his performance in From Russia with Love. His legacy with James Bond continues, and 25 years later, his son appears in License to Kill.
He's a rather intelligent young man, by the way. He should be. He's my son.
The cast and crew are shattered by Pedro's departure. It is up to director Terence Young to pull them together.
So I think Terence's contribution to the film, in a kind of salvage situation where we had to get something done. He knew what he was trying to do and succeeded fantastically well.
I love Terence, I really did. He was just great.
I rate Terence Young as one of the best directors I've ever worked with.
And he always took charge and completely took care of us.
He called everybody my children.
He said, come along, children, come along.
And not only did he call you my child, but he behaved as if you were his child. It was very comforting.
The work on the Gypsy set is anything but comfortable and requires careful choreography. Stunt arranger Peter Perkins begins preparing the actresses long before the cameras roll.
They brought us in and trained us for 3 weeks.
We came to Pinewood Studio every day and rehearsed. He said, think of that fight as a ballet routine.
I love to dance, so I was in great shape.
I'm really glad that I listened to Peter when he said, don't take it lightly, rehearse the fight, remember every move.
Then on the night, Terence insisted that we should kill each other.
It wasn't as easy as either Martin or I thought.
He'd sort of like go around going, go on, Martin, go on, get her now. And then he'd go, Elisa, go on, fire in.
I remember Terence Young saying, I want to see more legs flying in the air.
I didn't want to hurt her, but at the same time, you know, I was in the part.
We could easily have gotten injured.
Terence Young launches into a full-scale battle scene.
Everything on Bond is rather larger than life, so there are no little fight scenes. They're all blown up into something quite extravagant, and that's what makes it all such fun.
One evening, he was telling me, I don't like close-ups. I like action scenes. And of course, if you watch his movies, you see very few close-ups.
In mid-June, Terence Young prepares an action scene on the meticulously recreated Orient Express set.
Only the scenes on the Orient Express lasted several days because this fight between Grant and Bond was complicated because we were in such a small space. Everything went well, apart from Sean's usual games. He tickled me to make me laugh when instead I was supposed to be half dead on account of the drugs the villain Grant had given me.
We were able to build up this wonderful tension with that case.
Terence Young, a boxer while at Cambridge, works out the choreography with Peter Perkins and stuntman Jackie Cooper. For the next 2 days, the stuntmen carefully rehearse Sean Connery and Robert Shaw. On June the 20th and 21st, Young uses 3 cameras to film the scene. The actors give it their all. The stuntmen are only used for 1 shot. Yet some of the crew feel that Terence Young has gone too far. They worry the fight is too violent, that audiences will react against the realistic brutality. In early July, Terence Young takes his crew to Crinan, Scotland, to film one of the most challenging sequences in any Bond movie. Taking a page from Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest, Terence Young adds an aerial assault on 007. Connery does many of his own stunts for the sequence, which requires split-second reflexes on the part of the actor. Many on the crew breathe a sigh of relief when the scene goes smoothly. On Sunday, July the 6th, Terence Young again prepares to shoot the ill-fated boat sequence. In the morning, Young sets off to scout locations in a helicopter.
There was a problem with that helicopter, and they worked on it all night. And then I went down to the quayside in the morning, and Terence Young, the director, Michael White, the art director, and the camera guy was on board. This thing took off, and it went backwards.
The helicopter took off, took over into the water, rose about 30, 40 feet, and suddenly didn't rise anymore. Stood still for a moment.
Terence was waving to us, and I knew they were going to have a problem.
The pilot had the presence of mind to put the helicopter into a 90-degree angle.
And then he flipped it on its side and it went straight into the sea.
Which meant, as it hit the water, the blades blew off.
So we both stripped off and we dived in and got down to the bottom. They were down about 40 feet, I suppose, 40, 50 feet. And they were inside the actual bubble, and they had a little bit of air left, and not much. And Terence was kicking the plexiglass bubble to try and get out, because they couldn't get out through the left-hand door because that was blocked off with the camera platform. And he broke it, and he got out, and Michael got out.
Terence Young and the designer were taken ashore. Terence was slightly bleeding on his legs, but he didn't even worry about this.
Terence said, let's get back to the unit straight away.
He just turned round to us and said, right, I'll give you the next shot.
Terence got behind the camera again, didn't say a word to anybody.
And we were shooting within 35 minutes.
And shot all day long, like nothing had ever happened. It's quite amazing, absolutely amazing.
Director Young works diligently to complete the scene, which is complex and dangerous.
We caught the sea on fire, of course.
The effect calls for hundreds of gallons of gasoline and dozens of underwater charges. Due to the cost and the risk, it is set for only 1 take.
And on the radio, they said that the boat's going to come down, and when they fire the Very pistol, take our time, our own cue, and then we hit the explosions. The Very light came across, it hit the water, and we hit it. And everything worked perfectly. And then the boats just disappeared, and we were left on this island. And I said to Frank, there's something wrong here. There's something seriously wrong.
Due to a miscommunication, the explosions are set off during a rehearsal. Assistant Director David Anderson breaks the news to John Steers.
He said, we've got to do it again tomorrow, John. So I said, well, hold on, the stuff has to come up from London.
John Steers has one day to recreate his effect.
We worked that night, calling people and getting stuff, transport organised and stuff like that. And we got the stuff up there, and we were ready when we said we'd be ready.
All right, here we go now. Action!
Despite accidents and delays, Terence Young finally prepares to complete the Scotland shoot on July the 17th. The actors are required on location at 6 a.m.
It was a rainy morning. It was very early, 5 in the morning, and the driver fell asleep, unfortunately, and we almost landed in a river after turning over several times.
Sean Connery, following in another car, helps to pull his co-star out of the wreck.
The only thing was that my face was swollen and we had to delay shooting for me for 2 weeks.
Terence Young returns the crew to Pinewood Studios. The film is over budget and over schedule. Almost every major scene is still missing key footage. Some scenes, filmed before final rewrites, no longer mesh with the script. With less than 3 months until the film is scheduled to premiere, some feel the second James Bond film could turn out to be a disaster. Terence Young has confidence. He gives editor Peter Hunt carte blanche to begin shaping the material.
It wasn't beautifully storyboarded and shot together, so you had to make it work. You had to work at it.
Hunt and Young decide to place the titles after the opening sequence, which begins the tradition of the James Bond pre-title teaser. Peter Hunt rearranges many of the early scenes. Originally, Rosa Klebb visited Spectre Island, then recruited Tatiana Romanova, followed by the chess tournament, and finally the meeting with Blofeld, where we discover the plot. Hunt opens with the chess match, then shows us the meeting with Blofeld so that we understand Klebb's visit to Spectre Island and her meeting with Tatiana. To clarify the story, both Terence Young and Peter Hunt want the dialogue on Blofeld's yacht reshot, but the budget is spent. There is no need to reshoot Blofeld, as his face is never seen, but Terence Young must find the perfect voice.
Exactly. What have you to say to that, number 3?
He turns to actor Eric Pullman, who becomes the voice of Blofeld in From Russia with Love and Thunderball.
Our organization did not arrange for you to come over from the Russians just for amusement, number 3.
The challenge remains how to reshoot the other actors without rebuilding the set.
The only decent shot I had of the set background was a sort of medium shot of Lottie. And what I suggested was, why don't we make a plate out of that, do it back projection and project the plate? It's because she'll be in front of herself and she'll mask herself. Providing you keep a careful eye on it, it'll be perfectly all right.
The idea seems outrageous, but it works. With a careful use of back projection, Young restages the key scene which sets up the plot.
The operation will be organized according to Kronsin's plan. I have selected a suitable girl from the Russian consulate in Istanbul.
Hunt tries more innovative ideas. For this shot, he reverses the film so that Lotte Lenya moves toward the fish tanks, then later plays the exact same shot forward. Terence Young applauds the unconventional solutions.
He always encouraged one. He was always full of, yeah, that's great, let's do this.
Peter Hunt's rapid editing pace inspires other members of the crew.
If someone was going through a door, he would leap you through it, almost sleight of hand.
Editor Peter Hunt begins to create a visceral excitement with the action through his cutting, which meshes with Terence Young's stylish direction.
Terence used to work from, the moment.
Terence Young continues to shoot during the final editing. He reshoots various key moments, including the mask being lifted off the face of Bond's double, this time with a moustache. He completes the fiery finale in the paddock tank at Pinewood Studios and even races to Venice for a few last-minute shots. Peter Hunt tries every technique to bring out the best in the film.
You have to make it exciting. You have to fight with the film. That's what I like to do, get the film and fight with it.
In no place is the effort of the post-production team more evident than the deadly battle on the Orient Express.
I mean, I would sometimes wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning and suddenly have a brilliant idea about how the fight would go, and I put my clothes on and go down to the studio.
Soon Hunt and sound editor Norman Wanstall add layers of sound.
That's why we had to break the window to get the noise for the wheels in.
It really did need all the excitement we could get.
Norman Wanstall creates shattering sound effects.
That was wildly exaggerated, but it all worked.
The final element comes with composer John Barry. The finished film is an unqualified triumph. The movie premieres on October the 10th, 1963.
It was a fabulous premiere, fabulous.
The film opens to rave reviews and massive crowds. From Russia with Love quickly becomes a worldwide smash.
From Russia with Love, I think, consolidated the whole deal.
I have to go back again to Terence, who was the director and the leader of the whole thing, who was a wonderful personality and managed to instill into everybody an enthusiasm and a joy for making the film.
I think Terence's contribution to the film and the kind of stamp and measure of the films is, I don't think anybody gets closer.
Despite accidents, near misses, and real tragedies, the Sure Thing second Bond film exceeds all expectations. From last-minute rewrites to a lasting classic, From Russia with Love establishes James Bond as one of the cinema's greatest heroes.
Hello, I'm Maud Adams, and welcome to the exotic locations of From Russia with Love. Produced in 1963, the second 007 adventure was filmed on location in and around Istanbul, Turkey, and on board the Orient Express. Because of Turkey's geographic position and Istanbul's historic importance as the cultural gateway between Europe and Asia, it was the location of one of the first diplomatic battles of the Cold War, and it has remained a center of espionage activity. The filmmakers chose to shoot much of the film in the older sections of Istanbul, featuring many of the arches, fountains, and minarets built during the Ottoman rule. Kerim's Rug Shop is located in the famed Kapı Çarşı, or Great Bazaar, a thriving collection of over 4,000 shops, mosques, restaurants, and tea houses. Cutting through the heart of Istanbul is the 19-mile-long Bosphorus, where Bond questions Tatiana about the Lector decoder. Offering the only connection between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, the Bosphorus Strait is a major waterway for bringing oil out through Black Sea ports, and as such was featured again in the Bond film The World Is Not Enough. The Hagia Sophia Church, also known as the Hagia Sophia Mosque, served as the location where Bond recovers the blueprints for the Soviet consulate. It was built in 500 AD, 1,000 years before St. Peter's in Rome. At one time, it is reported that it took 80 priests to keep the Grand Church functioning. Today, it is a museum. Bond and Karim traveled underneath the Russian consulate by way of the Yerebada Sarai, the 6th century cistern built as a reservoir for the Great Palace. The vaulted roof is supported by 336 marble columns. The cistern remained an important water resource until the 19th century. Today, it is a tourist destination. The filmmakers shot aboard the real Orient Express, Europe's premier luxury train since 1883. The journey across Europe to the gates of Asia had inspired authors such as Agatha Christie and Graham Greene, as well as real-life intrigue. The train has been bombed, hijacked, and the site of more than one kidnapping. In 1950, a U.S. naval attaché was killed and thrown from the train by communist agents, an event that inspired the story of From Russia with Love. Finally, Bond and Tatiana arrive in Venice, where they enjoy a leisurely gondola ride beneath the Bridge of Sighs, named by the poet Lord Byron because of the cries of the criminals who walked its narrow passageway toward their prison cells.
Only the second James Bond thriller could be more exciting than the first.
Krylenko. So he's back. Another Bulgarian they use as a killer. Take a look. You should remember him. This man kills for pleasure.
James Bond, that notorious, amazing Dr. No secret agent, is back, and half the world is out to kill him. As he pits his murderous talents against the Iron Curtain and its velvet women.
Well, I'll tell you something, Kulturny. You're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen.
I think my mouth is too big.
No, it's the right size. For me, that is.
From Russia with Love comes Tatiana, bait for the trap. From the four corners of the world come the men and women who play a deadly, dangerous game of espionage.
Do not be alarmed, my friend. We will make you as comfortable as possible.
Ali Kerim Bey, head of Station T, Turkey. Krasnogransky, codename Grant. Chief executioner of Spectre.
My orders are to kill you and deliver the Lector. How I do, it's my business.
M of British Secret Service. The woman called Rosa Klebb, playing a double cross.
Klebb.
Romano, the door. Romano!
From Russia with Love. They dance for him. They yearn for him. They die for him. From Zagreb to Sofia, From Venice to Istanbul, from Paris to London, Agent 007 cuts an inimitable path through the palaces and boudoirs of espionage.
James, you're hurting me.
I'll do worse than that if you don't tell me. I'm doing this under orders I know. And what are they?
Even if you kill me, I can say nothing.